back to my channel. It is Diamond, also known as Diamonds Anise here, and if you are new, thank you so much for stopping by, and if you are not new, as always, thank you for being loyal. You guys know I appreciate y'all. I really do. I have not made an SLP related video in a minute, so I'm very excited to be talking about some SLP things. I'm gonna save the where I've been, where we going speech for another video, but I got some things in the works, y'all. It takes time to work it. So let me not hold you up. Let's get into this video. I want to talk about PRN, travel, and full-time employment. Which one to choose? What's the difference? Which one's more beneficial? Like, what's really going on out here? Okay, so I've been an SLP guide for 2 years. If you do not follow my SLP webpage, please follow that. Content is coming and is already there to kind of help you navigate through your CF, grad school, and before. And then a little bit into like actually working. We still kind of try to have a place for you to be able to network with other SLPs, like-minded people, especially minority SLPs. So it's all good over there, okay? I wanted to go ahead and talk about this because I feel like I have done full-time in PRN. I have not done travel, but I was considering travel. I went through the process of doing travel, so I have a little bit of insight to share, and I'll kind of, you know, tell you guys maybe, I guess, why I didn't do it, but I don't think it's a bad, you know, a bad gig at all. So these are some things like I wish I knew, what I wish someone would just straight up tell me, but you know, I'm gonna straight up tell y'all because I want to keep it real with y'all. Everything I learn, I want y'all to learn. So as I learn and get the information, I'm definitely gonna be right here passing it on. So make sure you are subscribed so you do not miss another video. So let's talk about it. PRN, full-time employment, travel. I think they're all great opportunities, and I think ultimately it's gonna be what is best for your situation. I'm gonna share not really pros and cons, but just my experience and some things that I've learned within each job type. Hopefully this, you know, gives you a little more insight. So I have my little list here. So, and I'm also gonna give y'all numbers because a lot of people don't give numbers, and I'm not gonna be able to give y'all exact numbers because of course you guys know there's some variability within amount we get paid, but I'm gonna average it out, and this is kind of how I like to think about things, so hopefully it helps to see the numbers. I'll have all that listed right here. So basically, full-time employment, y'all. So you're gonna get, the thing with full-time employment is you're gonna get your benefits. You're gonna get your insurance. They're gonna have a 401k plan for you. They're gonna have all that set up within your contract 9 times out of 10, okay? You have to deal with the legalities of the job. So if, you know, the job is going to send you somewhere else because they need you to get your 40 hours because they're paying you what they said they're paying you for 40 guaranteed hours, they're gonna do that. If you have to be COH, basically convenience of hospital, they let you go because there's no need for you in the medical setting, that's gonna happen. Whatever they need you to do is kind of like, you gotta do it, and whatever goes on within the facility of the hospital, it kind of still falls on you as a full-time employee because like, that's your job, you know? You're not excluded from anything that's going on within the department or the department and hospital in a whole. Usually if we're doing full-time, you're guaranteed 40 hours a week, so no matter what, you should get your hours. If you don't use your hours, you have the option to use your PTO that you are acquiring since you are a full-time employee. That's going to vary between wherever you work. There may not be as much flexibility with full-time because depending on the setting as well, because let's say you're working outpatient, you have people that are scheduled to come see you at the time that you said you're going to be there. So it's really hard for you just to kind of always take off depending on your setting and depending on your supervisors, because 9 times out of 10 people have already scheduled out their appointments for the next 2 months or so. So for the next 2 months, you already know this is what's going on. So if you're going to be asking for time off or trying to schedule other things, you have to be really on top of that and think far ahead so that as it gets closer to time, you know, you're not stuck working or have patients that they have to find coverage for because you can't take off. In a hospital setting, you may give a little more flexibility because of the simple fact that we actually go to the patient's room, so you're not like scheduled, like you have to go see a certain patient at a certain time. So you may get a little flexibility there. However, it may be a coverage thing depending on the census of your hospital. They need you type thing, and you may not always be able to just call off. I think I work for a pretty good hospital. My manager is super cool, and I know I work with 2 other full-time therapists, and you know, if they say, hey, this is going on, or hey, I need to leave early this day, or hey, can I work this day and not work that day, or Diamond's gonna come work this day and I'm gonna be off and I'll use my PTO, real chill, real flexible, and that may be your situation. So that's something just to consider. You have your guaranteed hours, and what I kind of calculated was just an average. The average, maybe I chose a central location in the US, not the top paying, not the lowest paying, but I kind of got an average for each setting. So let's say, and this is maybe as a beginning clinician as well. Again, other factors can either raise or increase this rate. So let's say you may make about $1,500 a week. You could make $6,000 a month. This is after taxes. I went ahead and put, you know, got a tax calculator for y'all. And then that would equal about $1,800 in a 3-month time span. So, you know, that's average, that's comfortable, depending on what your financial responsibilities are. That could be your full-time take-home pay. And that's kind of where people may start. The other option is PRN. Usually when you start PRNing, depending on what setting, but for hospitals, they want you to already have some experience. So usually you'll get that within your full-time employment. But, you know, depending on the setting, sometimes people are flexible. They need you, what have you. And so PRN basically means that you are working per diem. You're working as a facility needs you. This is no guaranteed work hours. If they don't need you, they don't need you. They're gonna tell you not to come in. But if they need you, they will. So currently I'm in a good situation because my job needs me pretty consistently throughout the week. So I pretty much have guaranteed a full-time job still. Sorry y'all, my camera died. But basically I think I was left off on the point in the fact that you still, like I currently am working somewhere where I still have guaranteed hours. So it works out for me, but there's a possibility. I have been told like, hey, since this is low today, don't come in. I know initially when I was applying to PRNs, some hospitals only, like they were guaranteeing 2 days a week, or they were guaranteeing they need weekends. You're really kind of covering the lack of the full-time staff. And so like my job asked me to do weekends, and sometimes a lot of the PRNs, they want you for the weekends, they want you for the holidays, they want you for the days that most people are not going to be there. Again, depending on where you work, there's flexibility. I'm gonna keep saying that because I don't want you guys to think that what I'm saying is the golden rule, because it's not. There is a lot of flexibility within this, but I think this gives you just an idea of what you may be getting into. You do not have any benefits, but I will say you have some. You don't get like health insurance, but they have options, I believe, if you work less hours, that you could probably still qualify for some type of insurance. Gotta probably pay a different rate, like a COBRA or something like that. There's options for you to still get insurance, or you can just get your own insurance on the side, which is what I do, and that is really, it's affordable-ish, also depending on what state you're in. You don't have to do it with legalities of the hospital because you're not a full-time employee there. You're a PRN. You work when you want to work. If you don't have availability, you don't have availability. They can't do nothing about that. You're not going to be penalized for any of that. Now, if you say you're gonna come in, then you show up, but you're not gonna be penalized for anything. At my job, I can sign up for the days I wanna work, and if I don't, I just don't put my name down for that week, or those 4 days, or those 3 days when I have things to do. I don't have to worry about asking for time off, waiting to get my time off approved. Like, I love it here. That flexibility is super key to me, and that is my favorite thing about PRN. The part that sucks is that sometimes they do call you off, but you can work on flexing your hours. So if you are PRN, you can work for multiple hospitals as a PRN therapist, and You know, if they can only give you 2 days, maybe you can get 2 days out of this hospital. That's 4 days a week. That's actually going to be good depending on what your rate is, but that's not average. And then maybe you could have 3 and you could pick up 1 day a week at this other location. So you kind of can make your own schedule. And then when you want to go on vacation, you just tell all of them you're not available during these certain days. And that works out as well. I know my job, we had a little raise or something like that, and PRN staff were actually eligible to get that raise. So that's why I say you may get some of the benefits, but you're not going to get all of the benefits of working there. Love the flexibility. It's not consistent, as I stated. You know, you kind of don't know. It just really depends on the need of the facility for you. If they need you, great. If they don't, so maybe average you could make about $1,800 a week, which would end up being about $7,200 for the month, which is $21,600 for a 3-month time frame. All right, and the last one is travel, which is why I did everything in a 3-month time frame, so you could kind of see the difference between each setting. Again, you gotta just, the pay can change. Just don't do it for the money. I always say that. People DM me all the time, which one pays more, which one don't do it for the money. If you're chasing the money, you're not gonna be happy. Don't do it for the money, okay? You can make good money as a speech therapist, but if that is your ultimate goal, I would recommend you do something else, because you're not gonna start making the best money. You have to get experience. Like, there's so much to learn in our field, but as you gain that experience, like, people will pay you for your experience, and you know your worth. So that's just how the game works. All right, off my rant. Travel therapist. Okay, for a travel therapist, you're gonna get great experience. Love it. I'm here for the experience. You're gonna have the opportunity to work in multiple states if you choose, multiple hospital settings, multiple pediatric settings, multiple schools. Things are always going to be changing. Resources are going to fluctuate. The areas will change. So you'll get like experience as far as just overall traveling, but you'll also get the experience to work with different populations, get to see different things. You may be working at maybe a facility that is catered to more feeding, and this one may be more neurological, or you know, a heavy focus on pediatric this or whatever. So, and then school settings, school districts, all that's so different, and just having that exposure to in the caseload and the type of students, like, you're just going to be well-rounded, and you know, you'll be exposed to so much that I think it does help and build your clinical skills and clinical confidence for sure. So I definitely think the experience would definitely be great in this type of job. So here is the thing. So I went through this process, y'all, and these are some of the issues I ran into, which are probably fine, but I'm gonna share with you guys both sides. With the travel, the company you work for, 9 times out of 10, they will be able to give you insurance. So you can get insurance through them, or you can get your own private insurance. That would be something that would be totally up to you, but I do hear that it's beneficial to just get it with the company. The company also has the benefits. I know they'll pay for your licensing, but they pay for your licensing in the state you actually work in. Keep that in mind, it's gonna be important later. And you get paid weekly, so that's nice. And sometimes they'll go ahead and find your housing. Now, if they do that, it comes out of your weekly pay, but that is an option of them being, you know, that person that can find everything for you, and you don't have to work as hard. So, with this, you will be responsible for paying your housing. That is going to come out of this weekly pay that I'm going to tell you guys about. You also will have to pay for your meals, of course. They give you the stipend. This is how we get the higher rate, because your hourly rate is low, your non-taxable income is higher. They don't tax you because you would have a main location or address, home, where you're probably paying rent, and they're not gonna tax you for both locations, right? Because you're traveling. That's kind of how they, I guess, justify that, and you just get a higher non-taxable income than you do as an hourly rate, which makes your weekly take home pretty significant. So everybody's like, oh, you make a lot of money. You can. And it also depends on what your responsibilities are. Like, and you know, if you have housing. So the thing that got me was that you have to, of course you have to have a license in each state, right? You can't just travel all over and you don't have a license. I thought that I was gonna be able to, I'm gonna just travel to different states and I'm gonna hit a new state every 3 months. Yes, you can do that, but you have to have a license in each state you're trying to hit every 3 months. And it takes maybe 2 to 3 months, maybe a month, depending on what's going on, to actually get the license for that state. That could also, that price is anywhere from $150 to about, let's say $300 to get everything you need for the license, apply for the application, maybe send transcripts, maybe get fingerprints, XYZ. And you'll have to do that for each license, depending on the state. So you have to do all of that. And usually if they are, the travelers are the, you know, the recruiter is applying you out to different jobs, the jobs want you to have that license in the state you're applying to before you even go to the state. So here's the thing, you need the license before they can really consider you for the job that you want to apply to, which takes a couple of months. So if I need to do that for like 3 or 4 states, that's number one going to add up because the company's not paying for my license if I don't get a job in that state. If the job actually accepts me, so I'm like, it's like a risk almost. But if you're completely open, you may have a better chance, but you're gonna still have to apply for this license before you can actually officially get a job there. And people I knew that were doing it, they would always tell me that they stayed with family because you still have to pay for your own housing. And for me, looking up housing, it still runs you about a good $900 to $1,000 a month at minimum, right? So that's still, maybe you're probably paying more in rent if you live somewhere, but you can do the math. The prices for this is about, maybe let's say you make $1,700 a week take home, you're getting about $6,800 a month, and for that 3 month time frame, you're probably making $20,400. $20,400. So, you know, you do the math. Still whatever responsibilities and bills you have, and kind of that's what I did to really see what was more beneficial. Like, to me, it didn't add up to be beneficial because, like, I think maybe I'm making an extra $1,500, but it wasn't worth it to me because I don't have anywhere to live, so I would have to pay for rent. I know 2 other travelers. One, they have a RV, her and her husband. They travel, so they save almost $1,000 every month on, you know, rent alone. And then I know 2 other people that, one, she still lives with her mom, so that's her home, all her stuff is there, and she just travels and she stays with people that she knows, so she only travels to states where she knows people. And the other person, I believe they still stay with a family member for like a few months, and they work as a travel assignment in that area. And then when they travel, they'll actually pay for rent, but then they kind of go back to having somewhere like that's a safety space for them, and they actually work in that state. So me, I was not going back to my parents' house, so I would have been traveling with whatever I could fit in my car, and I would have just been car hopping along. I really wouldn't have anywhere for myself to just kind of settle, and that's why I just chose not to do it. I felt like it was, for me, just so much more to consider and a little more unnecessary for, I guess, the life that I really wanted. When I like weighed out just actually working either PRN or full-time versus working as a travel therapist. So that's why I'm kind of like shying away from it. But I didn't know all that going in. It just sounds like it was a great opportunity, great experience, but I want you guys to be aware of that. And I do still believe it is a great opportunity and a great experience, but I want you to count the cost, and I want you to be aware of the financial responsibility that you will have still as a traveler, so that you can make the best decision for yourself and your career. I really hope it helps you choose maybe the type of work that you want to do. Let me know below what you're interested in, PRN, travel, full-time, or if you're just open to whatever experience comes your way, let me know in the details below. I would love to hear your experiences, or I would love to hear your interests. Of course, you guys know you can follow me on Instagram, DM me. I'm happy to answer any questions. Follow my personal page as well if you want to DM me there. That is perfectly fine. I am more active on that page right now, and I'm always open though and happy to answer any questions that you guys have. So that is the conclusion of this video. I don't have anything else to add. Thank you guys so much for watching. I cannot wait to see you in the very next video. Bye.